Please welcome President, Collaborative Apps and Platforms, Microsoft, Jeff Teper.
Good morning, good morning. This is such an exciting event. I love being here. Thank you so much for coming. The team and I are incredibly fired up at what we've got to share this week, and also get a chance to talk to you and listen at what is clearly one of the most exciting times in the history of technology. I do want to make sure that you understand from all of Microsoft, in particular the 200 people here from our team, how deeply appreciative we are. There's a lot of choices in technology, and the fact that you and your organizations have made the bet on the Microsoft platform is something we take incredibly seriously. So thank you so much for that bet, and thank you for your time this week. We know all of you are very busy. You've got stuff to do at work. This is time away from your families, and so we very much appreciate that excitement about this event, and the team has worked incredibly hard to make this our best week yet for you. So thank you very much. I do want to encourage you, a big part of this event is not just the technology, it's the people, it's the community. This is the best community in tech. And you know, there's a reason that's so important with this space. We work on collaboration tools. The whole point of what we do is to help teams and organizations work more effectively together so everybody can grow and increase their impact. And the way you build great collaboration tools is you try to build the best collaborative product development team and foster the best community that's helping each other learn, network, grow, and have fun. So please, don't just beeline to the next session and take notes. Of course, that's part of it. We've got a lot to share. But talk to people, including us. Again, there's 200 or so of us here. Grab us, say hi, ask us questions, give us frank feedback. We are very grateful and love to be here this week with you. Let me next talk about our priorities. There's three main things I want to highlight. First and foremost, what Satya has clearly said is our most important priority for Microsoft, which is the fundamentals of our services, in particular security. And you've all told us at these events that this is your top priority above all else for you as well. So I'm very excited. We're going to do something new at this Microsoft 365 Community Conference we haven't done before, which is we're going to have a dedicated security keynote right after this session, headed by Vasu, our security leader, who's going to go into a lot of the details on security that are more important than ever in the AI era. Next up, obviously a lot of blogging, events, news of the second is around AI. And we're going to cover a fair amount of that with Microsoft 365 Copilot and the ability to build and integrate agents. That's a big bet for us. And then third, we have a huge focus on the core collaboration tools. Microsoft 365, Teams, SharePoint, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, on and on and on. And also underpinning that, Windows and Surface. And there'll be a variety of news this week, but coincidentally, one of my favorite pieces of news is while we've all been getting ready for this morning, our Surface team has announced their best devices yet. They're thinner and lighter than ever, Copilot Plus PCs, and we've got them at the Surface Bar in the Expo for all of you to check out. So those are our big priorities. We're going to mainly, in this keynote, cover the second and third one, but again, Vasu is going to follow me up with a security keynote. All right, let me then talk about this keynote and frame the outline. So we'll start off with a little bit about what's going on in the environment with AI and our very latest work on Copilot. Then we're going to talk about Teams, that flexible hub for teamwork, which is now the place where people and agents go work together. Then, of course, the foundation of why we're here, SharePoint, the flexible content platform, which is more important than ever in the AI era for grounding and securing your content. And last, we'll talk about building custom solutions around this with the platform for AI. So let me first transition to our section on AI with Copilot and agents. There's a lot going on here. I've been in this industry for a while, and it feels like every week, every day, every hour, there's some new thing. Did you see this? Did you see that? Sometimes it's people gossip. Sometimes it's cool new user experiences. Sometimes it's some research breakthrough. And so it's very exciting to be in this space around AI. But the whole point of it and what we're trying to do here is, again, help people and teams and organizations be more effective. So let me step back and frame how we think about AI. So Copilot is your personal assistant. It knows you, it works for you, it gets better and better and better. Copilot is the UI for AI. But obviously, Copilot needs to be augmented with a whole bunch of capabilities. We call those capabilities agents. We will build some in Microsoft. You'll see some here this morning. Partners will build them. We're very grateful for the whole ecosystem of people building on the Microsoft 365 platform. You'll see a bunch of sponsors here at the event. And then you can build your own in a variety of ways, but the sort of most flexible way is with Copilot Studio. And those agents don't just work with you in your personal context in Copilot, they also work in teams to make every team be more effective. And then underpinning all this AI investment is the Copilot Control System, which we'll talk quite a bit about at this event, so you can secure and manage and measure your organization's investment in AI. So to share a little bit more about what we're learning with AI, but also to show the brand new Copilot experience, hot off the presses, where we work with the new Copilot app and some agents, I am very excited to bring up to the stage Nicole Herskowitz. Nicole.
As Jeff just mentioned, AI is rewriting the rules of business and will transform work as we know it. Now, 2 weeks ago, we released the 2025 Work Trend Index report to understand where work is going. We surveyed over 30,000 people across 31 countries. We analyzed Microsoft 365 usage product data. We looked at LinkedIn labor trends. And we even talked to AI startups, academics, and other economists to really understand where work is going. Now, I'm going to share a few highlights from that research, but I encourage you to read the full report with the AKA link right on this slide. Now, there was one key insight from the research, and it's the emergence of a new kind of organization, the frontier firm. Frontier firms are structured around intelligence and are powered by teams of humans and agents. And because of this, they can be more agile, they can scale, and they can create value quickly. And here is what is striking. Over 70% of employees at frontier firms say their company is thriving. That compared to only 37% at other organizations. Now, there are 3 key attributes of what it takes to become a frontier firm. First, intelligence is no longer bound by headcount or expertise. Agents will provide intelligence on tap. They are abundant, they are scalable, they are affordable, and they will close the growing gap between business demands and human capacity. Next, human and agent teams will upend traditional org charts that are organized around kind of functions, marketing, sales, engineering. And as AI democratizes expertise, fluid, outcome-driven work charts will emerge. Companies will spin up lean teams that are designed around projects, and they'll use specialized agents that will expand human scope. And finally, every employee will manage a team of agents. That means we'll be delegating and overseeing the work of agents to truly scale and elevate the impact of our jobs. Now, it's not surprising now that 82% of leaders expect to use digital labor to expand employee capacity over the next 12 to 18 months. Now, this research informs our product investments, shaping how we build Copilot for this next era of human and agent collaboration. And we recently just announced some new capabilities powered by more advanced models, adaptive memory, and reasoning agents. So let me show you Copilot in action. Now, at the center of Copilot is chat. It's personalized to you. It brings agents right into the flow of your work. So here I am in chat, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to see how Copilot is personalized for you. I can, for example, tell Copilot what's important through custom instructions. But also, Copilot is working behind the scenes for me. It remembers my preferences. For example, I like a tone that is professional but empathetic, and I like concise messages. Now, I also mentioned before that Copilot is your window to agents, with agents like researcher and analysts. So analyst is like having my own personal data scientist that I can tap into at any time. But for this demo, I'm going to dive into researcher. Now, researcher lets me tackle complex multi-step research. Now imagine in this specific situation that I want to create a marketing plan for a smart sneaker product launch. I'm going to ask researcher to look at the overall market, to look at competition, look at product capabilities, and to even create a go-to-market plan for me. Now, like any colleague or employee may do, it can come back and ask some clarifying questions, which is what researcher did right here. I'm going to provide some information that I want to focus on social media channels with an emphasis on LinkedIn, and now researcher is going to go to work. Now, researcher is built on OpenAI's O3 reasoning model that Microsoft has optimized for work. So not only is it working across web data, it's spanning your work data. So it's looking at internal documents and other data sources that may be applicable for building this marketing plan. Now, what you're also starting to see here is that researcher is showing me a chain of thought. So I will see the various steps that researcher is going through to create that marketing plan for me. And that will help me build confidence that the plan that's being created is very much aligned to my needs. Now, researcher will take a little while because just like anyone building a complex marketing plan, it takes some time. So what I'm going to do is go show you other areas of Copilot, and then we'll come back to this researcher and see the ultimate plan. Now, another new capability of Copilot is Copilot Notebooks. Notebooks allow me to create a workspace where I can, work on a specific project. I can bring in the content relative to that project and then scope Copilot to that specific material. So I'm going to go in right here and create a notebook specific to this product launch. I'm going to provide a notebook description. And now what Copilot has done is suggested potential content that would be relevant to add to this notebook. I'm going to go through and I'm going to select the pieces that I want to apply here. What you can see is it's really smart in understanding the things that may be applicable for this notebook. I'll go ahead and create the notebook. And as it's being created, I want to highlight to you another new capability called Audio Overview. Now, instead of opening up every single file within the notebook, Copilot will automatically create for you a podcast-style, engaging audio overview that will tell me the key points within each document. But right now, I want to create some content on top of my notebook, so I will go ahead and create a social media strategy. Now, what Copilot is doing is grounding on the content just within that notebook, so the response will be very, very applicable to building that social media strategy. I'll be able to use that to then move forward with creating my plan. I can see all the content formats, the platforms, all the recommendations, so I'm good to go with creating a social media plan. The next thing I need for my social media campaign is visual imagery. Now, you are probably used to creating images with AI tools, but unique to Copilot in this create experiences is to be able to tie it to your brand kits. So the images that are created are very much applicable to your brand identity and your organization's needs. So I can create an image, a poster, a banner, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to create an image of a running sneaker for this campaign. I will add an image specific to that shoe that I want to create the image on. I'll select the style. Now I'm going to do exactly what I told you before. I'm going to connect it to our brand kit. It'll take the fonts, the colors, all the styling that's very specific to my organization's identity. Now, this is all built on top of OpenAI's 4.0 model, so you have the latest image generation capabilities. But another unique characteristic of this Create experiences is that I have a full editing experience. I can go right in here and I can edit, so I can crop and rotate the images. I can make adjustments. I may want to change the brightness or the saturation. I can even improve or change the background. Because this is a social media asset, I may want to add some text. So I could go in here and I can add some text. I can even ask Copilot to help me with some text suggestions. Lots of different ways to make this specific image applicable to my organization. I can even continue to iterate on the image so that it really has the right polish or the look and feel that I'm looking for my image for the social campaign. You're going to see it's got these green and mustard hues that are tied to my company's brand identity. So I'm really excited to be able to take this beautiful image and then apply it to my social media campaign. All right, now I am going to go back to Researcher, and here you can see that full chain of thought with all the various steps that were created to produce this report. And as I span down, you can now see that full product plan. I can see market overview, a nice table with all the competition. I can see overviews of the product. It keeps on going on with target audience, ways to do my amplification through influencers, using digital channels. It's a very long and comprehensive plan. Goes even down to the specific KPIs that I might want to use to track the success of the campaign. This would have taken me days, if not weeks, in the past to create. Now, within a matter of minutes, I'm able to create with Researcher this full marketing plan. But it's not done. I want to continue to iterate on it with other colleagues and with AI. Now, I'm going to take that response and move it into a Copilot page. So I have a durable asset to continue to iterate and collaborate on. Now, as I mentioned, I really want to be able to collaborate with some of my colleagues. And so in this case, I'm going to invite Zoe Hotoff to come in. And I will send a message to her. And now she will get an email. She can get on the page. She can edit. And together, we can finalize this marketing plan to launch these new sneakers. Super cool. Now, I am so excited about these smart sneaker launch. And I really, really want to ensure that no one gets in and onto my machine and actually makes any changes to the sneakers or to my marketing plan. So I've already popped over to Copilot Search, because what I want to do now is change my password on this PC so that Jeff, who kind of has an affinity to sneakers, doesn't make any changes. But unfortunately, I forgot how to change my password. Well, that's okay. With Copilot Search, I can very easily go and ask it for some information. Now, it brings together the power of enterprise search with AI to be able to look across all of your work data. So Microsoft data from M365, but then also all third-party other data and sources. So for example, right here, we're looking across sources like ServiceNow and CB Insights, lots of other data sources to provide that answer. And very quickly here, now you see that I actually got a smart response on how to change my password for my PC, so I can ensure that Jeff doesn't make any changes to those smart sneakers. Closing out my demo, I just wanted to show you a few of the latest innovations that make Copilot your personal AI assistant and empower you to tap into agents to scale your impact at work. We are so excited to partner with you as you redefine work and use Copilot to lead your organization to become a frontier firm. All right, back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Nicole. And I will modify those sneakers and put the SharePoint logo on them. Don't you worry. All right, chapter 2, teams. AI is not just for individuals getting work done. but for teams. And hopefully you all know at this point, we have a unique approach with teams to bring together in a single, flexible, intelligent hub a whole host of collaboration tools, as well as apps from partners and your custom solutions. And we're very, very grateful that you all have responded well to that strategy and the evolution of Teams over the last few years, and that we've got over 320 million monthly active users for Teams, and some of the deeper capabilities on top, like Teams Phone, Teams Room, Teams Premium, are all seeing very, very high adoption growth. Over 70% of Teams customers use those enhanced capabilities. So thank you so much. There's so much more to come on Teams, and we've got a whole bunch of sessions on that. Let me just frame the high level. First and foremost, as I opened up, the most important thing is that Teams security is rock solid, not just for the underlying service, but so you all can have secure external collaboration in Teams and chats and channels and meetings with your customers and partners. And you'll hear from sessions on that this week. Second is there's a lot of capabilities in Teams, but we're trying to make it simple and flexible to adopt to a wide range of users. We have a very, very broad set of users for Teams. They have very different workflows. They have very different opinions how their software would best work for them. And so you see us adapting to that feedback and giving people the customization they want. And then third, of course, AI and agents are going to join these teams and make them more effective. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I thought I'd highlight some of the work on simplicity in a little more detail. Very excited to say we have just GA'd the new simple, flexible chat and channels experience. If you want them all together, you can have them together. If you want them separate, you can have them separate. If you want them favorited and the rest, that's fine. If you want them organized by projects, whatever makes sense to you. And there's a whole host of capability improvements for filtering different types of chats and channels, and notifications are dramatically better, search is dramatically better. And again, this GA'd this week, and we published a blog on adoption guidance just yesterday. But we're just getting started. Next up for us is a lot of people like this single pane conversation view in channels. Some people switching to us from other platforms have asked us for the two-pane view of conversation and thread. That's in private preview now, and stay tuned for that new threading mode approach that'll be a little more familiar for some folks who've switched to us, going to public preview very soon. So a lot of deep focus on the core-based Teams user experience. But next up, we want to show some of the AI capabilities in Teams. We're super excited about them. So let me bring up Miceile Torres to the stage. Melissa.
Thanks, Jeff. Like many of you, there are many demands for my time and attention, which is why while I was backstage, I realized that I was actually late for my team meeting. So let's join it together. Now, I could go do the thing where I interrupt somebody and ask them to like, hey, do you mind catching me up? But good thing I have Copilot to do just that for me. Let me show you how it works. So I'm going to go here and ask Copilot to go ahead and recap the meeting so far. Now we're expanding Copilot's capabilities to include shared screen content. So when Copilot generates the recap, it includes both the written and the spoken feedback with the corresponding slides. And you can see that in action right here. Come on, that's pretty cool, right? Yeah! Now, I don't have to bother and ask. I can simply look at this and catch up, helping me get up to speed quickly. But sometimes what happens in the meeting is more than just in slides. It's not just limited to slides, but it can actually read anything shared with a physical whiteboard. You can even see the notes being captured directly so that then I can go ahead and ask it questions. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Copilot now to rewrite both the content from the slides and the whiteboard and the discussion all for me. So let's go ahead and do that. Behind the scenes, Copilot is reading the whiteboard and synthesizing the information together. And there you go, look at that. It does more than just recap. It actually resynth over the content together, and now I can look the slide that it came from and the whiteboard. That's pretty cool. As demonstrated, Copilot significantly enhances your productivity in meetings. But we now have agents designed to assist in making meetings more effective for all participants, starting with the facilitator agent. Like, how many of you have been in a meeting where they sent the agenda, it was like 5 topics, and the meeting's almost over, and you've only covered the first thing on the agenda, and you know what that means. They're going to be setting up a follow-up meeting, and you're like, ugh. Second, having to take notes during the meeting and making sure that everybody, like, sending them out, see if anybody missed anything, and then, having to deal with that. Well, this is where the facilitator agent steps in. With facilitator agent, it utilizes the agenda in the meeting notes to help guide the discussion. Next, it actually, at the midway point of the meeting, will provide a recap of key decisions made so far, as well as any of the remaining open issues. And throughout the meeting, at all points, it's actually taking notes for you on all the conversations that are happening in the discussion. And what's really cool is you can actually jump in and add your notes too. And not only you, but the rest of the participants as well. Now back to the chat. There's one more thing that Facilitator helps with, and that's it. And that's, you can mention Facilitator at any moment to have it either give you insights on questions you may have on the meeting, or, like in this case, ask it to search the web. Now, when I was looking at the meeting notes, one of the action items that the team took was we're going to build a customer service agent that talks about EV chargers. And we need to go brainstorm ideas for what this customer agent would do. Well, as you can see here, now we're more effective. Right in the meeting, we can ask Facilitator to go and search the web to find information about EV chargers, giving us right there, no homework, that we can immediately start using. Managing meetings is only getting easier with Facilitator there to help you. Come on, that's pretty cool. Yay! Now, there's one more meeting challenge that I want to talk about, and that is global communications. Like many of you, Microsoft has a global workforce. That means that in any meeting at any time, you can have people who speak different languages. But it's so critical that we all understand each other to achieve our outcomes. Like in this meeting right now, I have a group of folks, colleagues that speak English, and I also have colleagues that speak other languages, like my friend here, Sonia, who speaks Spanish. Let's say hi to Sonia. Hi, Sonia.
Hola, Melissa, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, pasándola súper. Oh, wait. You all might not actually fully understand me because I actually speak Spanish. So I'm excited to showcase the new interpreter agent. And with interpreter agent, what it's going to do is it's going to go and take Sonia's Spanish, and after a brief pause, so you can hear the Spanish, it'll start translating it in English. And what's even better, it will do it with her simulated voice. Sonia, how did it go with that customer?
La conversación con el cliente estuvo buenísima. Tenemos muy claro lo que vamos a hacer a continuación.
The conversation with the client was great. We are very clear about what we are going to do next.
Come on, pretty amazing, right? It's like having an interpreter with you right there. And as a fellow Spanish speaker, I can tell you that translation was pretty legit. So now that the meeting is over, let's go ahead and leave. Say goodbye, team. I'll see you all later. Awesome. So Teams is your destination for collaboration, and a big part of that is working with projects with other folks, tracking deliverables, and doing status. But today, a lot of that can be very manual. Well, this is where the project manager agent comes in. The project manager agent helps you generate plans, tasks, complete tasks, and even status. Let me show you. So here I have a plan that already actually got created for me, generated by the project manager agent. And I'm on the board, and I'm going to go ahead and assign a couple tasks over to the project manager. And just like that, as easy as that, you can see that it starts working on it immediately. Now, once it's done, it's even going to send me a Teams notification. But while it does that, let's switch over to reports. Now, how many of you have had to deal with the dreaded status update? I know my manager, who's out there, asked for these, and it's, not the best fun to actually put one of these together. Well, we're taking care of that for you. With the getting started, you can set a couple of parameters, like here last month and other, and hit generate. Let's fast forward and show you what that looks like. And immediately, it generates a status update for you that includes all the major sections you would expect, from a project summary to key milestones, highlights. From here, now you and your team members can go ahead and make adjustments and get it ready. And once it's ready, you can go ahead and share it with your stakeholders to make sure that both your team members and your stakeholders are aligned. So something that used to be highly manual is now made much, much easier for you. So I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you. Now, let's switch over back, because I think the project manager agent actually has finished with some of his tasks, and I see right here that I got the first one complete. So let's review that, and I can see all the work it did for me, giving me a script just like I asked for, which is awesome. So now that this is done, I am ready to mark this task complete. And so now comes the thing we all love to do at our workday, when we finally get to say we completed one task and hear this beautiful ding. Now, come with me. Let's do this together. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Over to you, Jeff.
I love that sound. It's the sound of getting stuff done. Thank you. You're not done yet. Stay there. We've got some SharePoint stuff that you work on to show in a second. Super excited about that. All right, we're now going to move from the flexible, intelligent collaboration hub with Teams to the flexible, intelligent content platform with SharePoint. Some of you have been with us on the journey the whole way. If we go back in time to 2001, 24 years ago, next year will be a big birthday party here, we had SharePoint that brought together collaboration, content, and portals in a single product for the first time. It was both an app and a platform. And that product evolved. We added more capabilities, so we turned it into a wheel, if you remember this picture, or the pie, as folks. We actually made pies in the team with the workloads in each slice. It was very good. This was a very exciting inflection point for us. In fact, one of the most pivotal moments in SharePoint history is the precursor to this event, the SharePoint conference in 2008. Bill Gates announced that our online services with Exchange and SharePoint and more would be available for organizations of all sizes. We were early. In tech, it's a little better to be early than to be late. But we obviously got there with the cloud. And here we are today. And we have a much better designed wheel, if you will, that highlights just a few of the application experiences built on the SharePoint platform. Melissa's going to show you the latest SharePoint UX in a second, but there's a host of new capabilities. And we love at these events to drop big new numbers. And so I'm going to do that here in a second. But I want you to understand where the growth's coming from. A lot of organic growth continues in SharePoint, but there's two experiences in the last year or two investments that are accelerating the infrastructure of SharePoint. One is SharePoint Embedded, sort of a headless content management system. We use it internally. In fact, Nicole's demos for Create and Notebook and Pages are built on SharePoint Embedded, our own internal use. And then second, people are building third-party applications on that. In legal, accounting, pharmaceutical, we see great new growth and new users who've never used SharePoint before coming to these specialized services that we didn't always participate in. So that's one engine of accelerated growth in SharePoint Embedded. The other might be a little surprising. Over the last couple of years, you all know OneDrive in business is powered by SharePoint, and commercial under the covers, separate stack, same UI, for the most part, separate stack under the covers. We've been migrating that to SharePoint so we could have one content platform from everything from consumer photos to corporate contracts, so we could have this incredibly powerful, flexible content system for ourselves in the industry. And so with all that, the organic growth, SharePoint embedded, the focus and the shift of the consumer accounts onto the SharePoint platform, I'm very pleased to announce, and I looked at Power BI every day for the last 6 months, hoping it would line up with this event, and it did. We have passed 1 billion active users of the SharePoint platform. Thank you. We've come a long way from a little build on my machine that ran on a single computer. It's pretty amazing. But we are not done yet. So celebrate for a second. Let's go on to our priorities for SharePoint. It's pretty much the same framework, except in the AI era. We are going to continue to enhance SharePoint for collaboration, employee communication, and automation of business processes, all contributing to and using a secure, intelligent knowledge graph under the covers. So to show you some of the very latest work for SharePoint, Melissa, why don't you take it away? Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. At this very conference not long ago, we shared how we're empowering creators to build the best-looking sites with SharePoint, enabling you to design web content like a pro. Since then, we've introduced a ton of new capabilities, and today I get to showcase 2 of the ones I'm most excited about. When it comes to designing the layout of your page, the lack of customization options can really prevent you from bringing your organization's vision and brand to life. By using flexible sections, you now have full control of where to put your elements, like you can see here. Ta-da! Come on, that's pretty cool. Giving you full control of the canvas. Now, we wanted to inspire you and help you get started, and that's why we've included a ton of beautiful, flexible, and easy-to-use templates so that you have a starting point of what you can now achieve with these new sections. And if you want to see them in action, here they are. You can see as I scroll down this page, these are actually templates where we've updated to match the theme of the page. But the structure and layout of the page is just one component to the puzzle. The other piece is the content. And this is where editorial cards shine. With beautiful and engaging designs, you can call attention to the most important content on your page. And it's incredibly customizable. So you can see here, this is just a brief example of all the different types of cards you can create, which is pretty cool. Now, in the era of AI is reshaping the way that we do work. And in SharePoint, we recently released the ability to generate entire pages using Copilot for providing a file or a template, making getting started with creation easier than ever. Well, now we're bringing that goodness directly into your flow of authoring with sections powered by Copilot. So I can show you. I'm going to go ahead and add a section, and I'm going to describe the type of section that I want and give it a document that has that information. And just like that, go ahead and click Create. Now, what this is going to do, and what you see here is what I've asked it to do is to generate a section with the top 3 priorities for this product page that I'm building. And one thing to note is these sections are context-aware. And what that means is it'll actually pay attention to the narrative of the page to make sure that there's no duplication of content. And it also matches the theme. And bam, look at that. I get my priorities populated for me. Come on, thank you. Thank you. Now, from here, I can go ahead and refine. Like, for example, I can choose to make it longer and make other adjustments as I can. Again, making easier than ever to create your sections so that you can go from something that looks like this. And here's another example of one that I have created before. Let's see if that loads. There we go. Look at that. Come on, come on. That's pretty cool. And that's not just the only type of section. Here's another section that I created using Copilot that I provided it a list of, hey, here is a document that all these other people in the Dreamwing team have been working on, and it pulled the information of the people, making that easier than ever. Now, AI is particularly helpful in making content that is repetitive faster. So I'm excited to show, and I'm sure a lot of you at one point or the other had to put together a frequently asked questions. And that could be very manual. Well, we have a new web part to help make that easier than ever. You can see here the new FAQ web part. I give it a file, and I select the type of FAQ that I want to create, and hit just like that, and go ahead and hit generate. Now, it's going to actually walk me through 3 different steps, and I've already loaded for it. One, it will generate there it goes. For one, it will generate the categories for the clip. From here, you can go ahead and refine anywhere from moving the individual categories to deleting or adding new categories. That's step 1. Step 2, once you have your categories, you could actually ask it to draft your questions. There it is, draft your questions. And there it goes. And once your questions are drafted, you can then, step 3 is ask it to draft your answers. And just like that, now you have an FAQ built out for you, which is a great starting point. And in case you're wondering, yeah, I can also go ahead and refine these as well. Something that used to be highly manual is now made much, much more efficient. So, yay! Awesome. Now, speaking about efficiency, SharePoint agents are at the center of harvesting the knowledge within your site to help you make decisions, take actions, as well as gain insights faster than ever. And now, every single site comes with its own SharePoint agent. But in this case, I've actually configured my own custom one, which is the Relicon 2025. And I've set that as my default, and I can go now and ask it a question that'll go and find on the grounded information that I set this agent to look at. And so let's wait, and there it goes. It actually went and looked at the information and gave me the answer. Saved me tons of time from having to go and dig through the site to find it. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, Melissa, how did you create this? Well, let me show you. So here I am in the document library of this site. And one thing is, my team's getting ready to put together the summer marketing plans. And I've been getting a ton of questions about what they are from different people that are not on the team. Previously, I would have to answer those questions, but now I'm actually going to create an agent to do that for me. So I'm going to create marketing, select here to create the agent, and hit edit. And now I get to start configuring my agent. I can give it a name, logo. I can go here to the behavior and have set, for example, my own starter prompts to help guide the users. Or I can also set the most important piece of your agent, which is the data that it is grounded on. And so here I've put the marketing folder like you saw. I can add other sources, and I can even add files from my OneDrive. Yeah, thank you. Now that my agent is ready, I can go ahead and save. But before, I did want to call out that you can also further customize it using Copilot Studio right here. And if I wanted to, I can actually save this as my own personal agent in my OneDrive. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and click Save and save this to my site. And here comes my agent to life. Ta-da! Now, I mentioned that I was creating this because I wanted to share it with a few folks. So I'm going to go, and just like I do with any other file, I'm going to select it and copy link. Now let's switch over to Teams, where I have these colleagues of mine that had reached out with these questions. So I'm going to go ahead and add the agent. And just like that, I have now adding a link to the chat immediately gets recognized, And easily, I can go and click on the Add the Agent. And what this is going to do, it's going to add the agent as another member of this group chat. And the same prompts and information that I had given it comes up, as you can see here. Now, let's go ahead and give it a command. And just like I interacted from the SharePoint site directly, I can do the exact same thing from Teams as well in this group chat together. So now, these folks that had all these questions can just ask it that. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, well, Melissa, you shared the agent, but what about if these folks don't actually have permissions to see those files or your site? Well, we've actually thought of that because we care about governance. So here you can see that the agent recognizes that and says, hey, you should make sure that you should see the response before. And I can click here, and there you go. I can now review the response and make sure that I'm comfortable with them seeing that even if it didn't have the access to the files, and hit send to get it out its way. Come on. Making it easier than ever. SharePoint is your platform for creativity and innovation, bringing together what you already know and love, and creating new AI-powered experiences to make building content, sharing news, and fostering collaboration better and easier than ever. Back over to you, Jeff.
Thank you. All right, let's now move on to our fourth chapter around platform and extensibility. You know, this has been a very critical part in the history of our collaboration tools, from macros in Excel to extending SharePoint to Teams bots and more. And the reason is because while we have these general purpose tools, people need to adapt them and integrate them to their particular environment. And the approach that has always been successful for us working with you is to have a three-tier approach. End users can customize things, a bit as Melissa just showed. Power users can use no-code, low-code tools to do a little more complex things. And then professional developers can do basically whatever they can within the security confines so they can integrate and adapt things however they want and bring whatever stack they want to the system. So we're carrying that three-tier approach to the AI world. And it's more important than ever because you want the agents to be tailored for your particular organizations and applications. But I thought before we jump into the demo, we'd sort of take stock at where we are on this platform and automation journey. And one metric that shows the adoption is there's over 2 billion workflows issued on SharePoint each and every week. And that's a great foundation, but what's going to happen is some of those workflows are going to be straightforward declarative things, send expenses above a certain amount to my manager for approval. But more and more of them, in fact, a hockey stick in them, are going to use large language models with the kind of advanced reasoning capability and tool calling that Nicole alluded to earlier inside these automations. These automations will evolve over time to be agents. To show you what that looks like, in particular with the great work we're doing in partnership with the Copilot Studio team, I'm very excited to bring up Miceile Barrett to the stage. Miceile.
Good morning. Ooh, I like the twinkles. Put them up. Ooh, that's nice. You heard it from Jeff. Over 2 billion automations are run each week, and it's only growing. M365 data is at the heart of that, powering all of your business processes from simple all the way through to critical business applications. This spans 3 things. First, taking any messy data and making it structured. Second, supercharging your content with AI. And last, automations for everything, from the basics to custom agentic workflows. Let's get started with structuring your data. Coming this summer, our new Forms experience will be in every single one of your document libraries. This gives any worker an experience for a simple yet powerful input form to collect metadata as part of the upload process. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen document libraries that look like the one I have here. There's some metadata, and it's okay. But as this audience knows better than anyone in the world, a document library can always have more metadata. With our AI-powered autofill, you can now automatically extract content from your document library. With one click, you saw autofill analyzing all of the different documents I have and then creating recommendations for the content. You see that it suggested flight times, release times, and stock status, automatically creating those columns for me and then pulling in that metadata. Now, with the AI-powered capabilities of autofill, I can now make sense of my content, allowing me to create workflows on this document library. Now, one of the most common that we see is approvals. With a couple clicks, I can set up this powerful and simple workflow. Now, in my scenario, the approver is my manager. So when I go through and I need a spec to be approved, it'll send him a notification so he can then take immediate action. So in just over a minute, you saw content go from messy and unstructured to organized and actionable. But what if your workflows could talk, think, and do your work for you? It's time to meet Copilot Studios. I have my agent, Contoso Concierge, and this helps with incoming employee requests coming to the HR team. It's super easy to create powerful instructions in this agent. Like you see here, it's all natural language, no code is needed, and it's powerful enough to tell my agent what to do, how to handle itself in different situations, and the scenarios it's here to support. I've added multiple knowledge sources to this agent, so it has an understanding of the Contoso ecosystem. You'll see things like Brand Central, legacy vacation balances, and it's super easy to add more, where I can connect to things like SharePoint or even public websites. Now, this agent is more than a knowledge retrieval agent. The real power comes in taking actions on my behalf to do my work for me or for other people. Let's test it out. We're going to start with a warm-up, my first prompt on stage. And what you're going to see on the left is real-time, all of the different connections that are taking place and the different processes this agent is running to support the conversation that we're going to have on the right side. So what you just saw is the agent successfully using internal and external data to tell me that I have 10 remaining vacation days left. Let's try something a little bit more complex. I know I have 10 days left, but I want to use them all together. So this agent is really good at understanding all of the different data that I showed you in the knowledge sources. But the real value is that it's able to understand it within the context of me. So instead of needing to go and look for all the HR manuals and then reading through each of those policies, I can just ask my agent. And so what you're seeing is this agent building out custom knowledge for me. And it lets me know that it is okay to take the 2 weeks back to back. But like I said in the very beginning, the real power is in having this agent take actions for you. I'm going to actually ask this agent to just go ahead and schedule that vacation time for me. So what you're seeing here is multiple processes combined to actually run that action. And you see the action is run, my time off request is submitted, and it was approved so I can go on vacation after the last session at this conference. From the sounds of it, it seems like a few of you might be on vacation with me. Someone's really going on vacation. So this agent, think about in your own organization, how many different steps and tools you would have to use to do this versus the 3 questions to the one agent. The goal of this is to have everyone in the Contoso company using this and getting value out of it. It's very easy to publish the agent, so anyone can use it where they need to. Now, I've already published this to teams, and I'm feeling pretty warmed up here on stage, so let's keep going. In addition to the vacation, I'd like a new device. Now, this is pretty similar to what we saw before, where the agent is going out and collecting information that's relevant to me, but it's doing so much more now. It's factoring in things like budget, availability, and what's actually accessible to me right now so that I can place an order from my computer. And so what this result will look like is this, where it gives me 7 different devices to pick from. And so what it's doing behind the scenes right now is actually running through all the things I mentioned. But 7 devices is still kind of a lot. So I'm going to use my agent to help me narrow down and pick what's best for my needs. So I asked it, I do a lot of video editing. What would you recommend? And it comes back with suggestions based on all the different specs of these computers. And the one that it recommended mentions a Surface. I'd like to go ahead and get the Surface. Now, the last demo that I'm going to do for you is another action, where I'm going to tell it to actually process the order for me of the computer. Now, what it's doing is creating custom content based on just the conversation that I've had in this Teams thread. It comes back with an order form where I can hover over, and you can see it right there and track through all of the shipping and the approval flow. And so this is awesome, very easy. Created this content out of just the 3 conversations that I had. So I have walked through just a couple simple examples to show you the power that you have when you combine intelligence with automation. I can't wait to see what you build in your orgs and your tenants. Thank you. Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Miceile. Thank you. Well, how are we doing on this journey from automations with AI to agents? I thought I'd pull up a stat. A lot of what Miceile showed, as you all know, is relatively new. And so it's always interesting for us to see when we release something how fast it gets adopted. So I'm very excited if you take the last 90 days and take the agents that users created in SharePoint, like Melissa showed, and the agents created in Copilot Studio, like Miceile showed, regardless of the data source, could be SharePoint, could be a lot of other line of business systems. If you add those 2 numbers just created new in the last 90 days, our customer base has created over 1 million new agents in the last quarter. So I think that's off to a great start. And you all have, thank you. You've given us a bunch of great feedback, and they're only going to get better. The latest models are going to help, largest context windows is going to help, better RAG is going to help, better tool calling is going to help. But one of the big things that's going to help a lot is our very intense focus on the Copilot Control System. A key part of the platform is not just the tools, but the control system. And so again, we have investments in all 3 areas: security, management, and measuring. And I'm going to play a little video of just a few things that we've released in the last couple months to improve Copilot and agent governance. Security, of course, we support access control and classification, labeling, and protection, and sharing policies to make sure the underlying content and agents built on top of them can only be accessed by people with permission. And as Melissa showed, we're introducing UI to make sure people are aware of those choices. Second, in management, you've all have asked us, and we're introducing new controls for the life cycle of agents. When they created, when they die, who can use them, and very importantly, the billing aspect, as some of these agents do use underlying more complex models that incur additional meters in Copilot Studio and Azure. So that's a big focus in the next month or 2. And then the third area is measurement, the ability to slice and dice your Copilot and agent usage and customize it and integrate it with your own data so that you can measure not just the usage of AI, but the productivity benefits and the business outcome improvements. Big source of innovation for us, a lot of content this week on the Copilot Control System. We encourage you to check out and give us feedback. So let me again wrap by thanking you. Thank you for being here this week. Thank you for your passion for the products and community. Thank you for the feedback you're going to give us. And wherever you are in the AI journey, huge thanks to people who are pushing the envelope and giving us advice and feedback there. If I throw up a slide, you'll see over 70% of our corporate customers, 70% of our Fortune 500 customers are actively using Copilot today. And as we said, it is just getting better every day, every week, every month. And so I thought I'd close with a little video from one of our pioneering customers, Holland America. So let me wrap by thanking you so much for being here this week, and we look forward to seeing you. Thanks.
Our business model and our values haven't changed in 150 years, but the way we provide better service to our customers and the way we connect with them has.
We really pride ourselves on award-winning service. Booking a cruise is fairly complicated, so we decided to create a digital concierge service.
Anna, our Copilot agent, is our digital concierge. We modeled her after our incredible onboard crew and tapped into knowledge and analytics from our customer service teams, then tested her with those experts to ensure she is accurate, authentic, and personal.
We've been very impressed with Copilot Studio, its flexibility and its customization that we were looking for. We didn't want Anna to be like any chatbot. We wanted an experience that really harnessed the power of generative AI.
Anna simplifies the purchase journey and reduces the complexity. She allows us to serve guests in a way that works best for them.
What we're finding is that when customers engage with Anna, they're more likely to find the right cruise that fits their own need than if they don't engage at all.
Everything we do is in service to our guests. With Anna, guests discover, purchase, and get the answers they need to create the journey that they want. What's exciting about AI is it's a starting point, not an ending point. And with Copilot Studio, you don't have to start from scratch.